Whoa, what a way to... That just came out. Whoa, unmutes mic. Belches. I don't know about you, but that's a very dwarfy thing to do. Anywho's a what's it? Hello. I am alive, don't worry. Most of me being gone last week is just because I'm a lazy schmuck. How is you, Jindra? Stretch. Cat is fed. Should not, but you're doing okay? That's good. I was going to do Ether Gazer, and then the game decided, you know what? I'm going to take forever and a half to do some updates. I'm like, you know what? Fuck you too, Ether Gazer. Now we're going to do Noita. Okay. Acceleradium? I won't put out fires. That's unfortunate. Very basic one. This is the big 4.0, 5.0 update. Had I known, I would have pre-installed. I love you. I'm just... Look, man, I play Uma Musume. Maybe once in a blue moon, Arc Knights. Once in a pink moon. Well, no. Once in a full moon, Ether Gazer. Put the shotgun down. Chapter for this update's fire. I have you to blame. Because you're talking about it. I'm like, I need to catch up and see what the fucking hype is about. It's like where we are presently. It's like this story's fine. I have opinions about the voice acting, but I'm pretty vocal about said opinions. So it's like this is nothing new. I'm also very vocal at the pronunciations primarily. Because the game's fine. The game's fun. The alpha beta chapters are meh. I'm still in the alpha chapters or beta chapters, aren't I? Up to 12. Oof. I'm gonna be there a while. Excuse me. I don't know why. Like, I suddenly started having fucking sneezing fits. Doesn't have to be a good wand, just a new wand. Chapter 12 is as long as 7, 8, and 9 combined. Oh. Okay, noted. Let's go shopping! Lava potion, acceleradium potion. I mean, the lava potion would be pretty funny! Help! Help! I am on fire! Nobody saw that, right? What the fuck are you doing here? Like, it's very clear that they had a change in motion for the story. Excuse me. Potentially having a direction at all with the formal release. Fix out. I thought I could get in and get out real quick shit. As far as, like, grabbing the wand from the lava. Evidently not. That is a dangerous start. Who decided I should start with acid? Whatever god decided I should start with acid, 1, thank you. 2, this run's not gonna last very long. I mean, every run is the run. Obviously Assidious. Ah, yes! The totally real, not at all made up Greek god of acid. Known alignment, neutral evil. Imagine somebody just stumbles on this stream and is just all like, ah, yes. That is the D&D character I will Fuck me, that's all polymorphine. Alright, I have an idea. Hear me out. What do you mean? As a material, you are less dense than polymorphine. Ow, ow, ow. I am not sorry for what's about to happen to you, sir. There we go. That's a big hole. Everything below that point is turning into a sheep, pretty much. This world chose to have early polymorphine. It gets the consequences. It sure does. What? Uh-oh. That's not good. What the hell did it combine with to make chaotic polymorphine? This seed wants me dead. That's what I can glean from this. This seed wants me dead. It gave me acid. It gave me a Giga Saw Blade. It gave me polymorphine that is now promptly turned into chaotic polymorphine. I'm gonna die. Next up, Giga Black Hole. Alright, that won't murder me. Probably. As long as I set it up and then get the fuck away. The saw blade, on the other hand, that just, you know, just to demonstrate. Yeah, it does that. You shoot that shit and it's like, I'm gonna head back where I came from. So if you're not, outside of that general postcode within the next few seconds, you're dead. Because, how much damage does that do? It does a shitload. Yeah, no, 63. It is a terribly good spell, but it is a terribly good spell. Emphasis on the terribly. Ah, yes, beat up that corpse. Now imagine homing Giga Saw Blades. I don't want to. You know, I was gonna try to wash myself off, but then I remembered, oh yeah, acid. Yeah, that will wash up the swamp water. And my clothes. And my flesh. Possibly my bones, too. Like, at that point, it's just better to say, well... Another wand? Oh, God. That's a good use for the saw blade, because I hate those things. They bleed acid, and they... Or no, they don't... No, they do bleed acid, and they spit out acid balls. No thanks. Question is, where's the gold go? And it's gone. Trick kill, trick kill, trick kill, trick kill, trick kill, trick kill. Give me your money. Did he just explode into water and blood? What? Like, hey, I knew humans were like mostly made out of water, but this is a little ridiculous. I was gonna say sailing away, but nah, I kicked my boat in the oil. Kill. Regular kill. Ah! Fair. You know, I like this water, but I kind of want to keep my bottle acid. It's just a little bit more useful. Ow. I think my fiance's happy about something. I couldn't tell you for the life of me what, though. Fair enough.
This box.
Yeah. Don't mind me, I am throwing acid over there.
Like it's like shakes and bottles versus the
Right.
paper, and they purpose the bottles taste better because so you'll want to buy those. They can charge you.
Fair.
Bunch of bull.
Fair. Random. I love how that was after I was saying I'm throwing a bunch of acid, and then you said it's a marketing ploy, and I'm like, what?
It is.
It's just a marketing ploy for what?
Acid.
Eh? Okay. Fair enough. It was covered in blood, water, and slime. Quite a, There. Here. I don't want to know what happened over here, because you want to know what that's probably going to do? As soon as you take this wand, that spawns a shitload of acid. I'm going to leave now. Because I don't want that wand. You know, that makes sense. water plus acid equals probably dissolved water, but mostly acid. God, you really don't need, like, terribly much of... No. I had a bottle of gas. Unfortunately, not the fun kind. I mean, it was flammable. I know it was over here.
Oh, I found it.
Okay. When in doubt, throw dynamite. Preferably not that hard. There we go. Oh no. Oh no. Hey, this wand sometimes spits out 3 bombs. This seed really does want me dead. Okay. I also started a new playthrough of Agris Generations of War. Of course I did, because I'm looking for games to actually, like, beat. So, like, I also started a new career in Kerbal Space Program. Promptly decided that was not worth my time, because it's going to take, like, 100 hours to beat that one. 200 on average. So I started a new playthrough of Agris Generations of War. Disabled, like, all of the DLC I could. I want to go for a vanilla playthrough. Then I realized, gee, like, I really don't know a whole lot of what I'm doing at the moment, and it frightens me. Because I don't necessarily need or want, like, the true ending right away, right? Oh, you poor bastard. Poor bastard. Can I just say off fucking rip? That thing spat out 3 bombs? Wild! Anyway. Yeah, so I started a new playthrough of Agris Generations of War. If I recall correctly, there's no true ending of Generations of War. No! No! Apparently there is. There is a true ending. And true ending as in... like, all paths lead roughly to the same ending. According to the internet, this is not the case. Apparently there is one ending that is considered a true ending. But apparently it's also not very hard to get, so I wouldn't be surprised if, like... yeah, anyway. I mean, thankfully that's just sludge rather than acid. I'm being bunked! Ah! Ah! But yeah, in my current playthrough of Agris Generations of War, I haven't gotten very far yet, but I have gotten a few titles, and I've immediately realized, oh, I should make it my fucking objective to get these titles, shouldn't I? Because depending on how I approach grinding, that's not necessarily recommended or wise. Because I noted that, like, after every random battle on the field map, a turn goes by, and I'm like, what the fuck does that mean? Hello? Also, the way that you distribute, like, levels, or points, stat points, like, it's not an unfamiliar concept to me, but I'm just, like, I'm over here like, what is the good decision to make? Who should I give what stat points? So of course I did a little bit of reading. Because, like, I hardly know what the fuck I'm doing presently. Never mind that Agarest Generations of War has a semi-convoluted combat system with a whole system of, like, you know, you use these two skills in sequence. Order does not matter. And a new technique will come out of it. Not to mention, it also has the Hyperdimension Neptunia rebirth kind of systems, where, hey, you do both break and HP damage. Of course, unlike Hyperdimension Neptunia, it's not like the break stats or the break HP stays decreased, but you recover so much after so much time, or after a turn. Also, I'm on fire. There is a little water in that. No, instead it's more like break is a statistic that if your break bar is broken, your defenses are severely reduced. And that's, to the best of my understanding, how that works, right? Your characters have a break bar. The enemy has a comparatively very small break bar, unless you're playing on hard mode, I presume. I'm playing on normal because I'm a baby. I mean, that's not genuinely the reason. It's mostly just to get a gauge of what normal is, but apparently hard mode, to my reading, easy and normal mode have a level cap of 350. But hard mode gets a level cap of 999. Which is a little wild to me. But c'est la vie. I fed her! Yelling about the cat. Brass. Got a bag full of brass. Not the Molly guy! He's immune to explosions, but mostly fire. My one weakness. His I don't give a fuckness. He's not, however, immune to a bunch of green bouncy balls. But yeah, so I did some reading. And basically from my reading, oh god, I have determined that the game is really freeform in how you can approach it. It's not going to be the end of the world depending on how I do things. My biggest concern is with the PP, the party points, which are seemingly something you can use out of combat to distribute additional stat points to your characters. That is something I am concerned about wasting, right? Because I don't want to use it on characters that aren't going to stick around the party for very long. It's not something I want to use on characters that I'm not going to use particularly much. Like, at this point, the most I've done is I spent like 7 on the healer character you get very early on, who is a like young pink-clad high elf, and I raised her luck stat. That's basically all I did. Uh-oh. Thank you, Frog. Because, like, I'm serious when I say I don't want to end up wasting, you know, like, points. Like, to me, those points are... That is a long range. Not quite the way I thought I was going to die this seed. But, like, I did that for her, and I did that for the first main character that you have, who is Leon Hart. And I got their luck to the point where it's costing 2 points to level up to raise it instead of 1. I've also learned that the in-game system... I also learned that, kind of like Disgaea, the game puts a lot of value in your stats, not so much value in your levels. Your levels still matter. Because, like, you'll earn new stuff as you level up. And, of course, like, you can raise your stats by spending these points on level up or the party points that you get on any character. But more importantly, there's another, like, system and... Oh, it's rad. In which you can improve your equipment. Oh dear. I have acid again. And in improving your equipment, like, you spend EP, or equip points, to do this. Oh god, oh god, oh god, oh god, oh god, oh god! Ah! Ah! Help me! I was wiping my nose! No, no. Not a good spot to get stuck. That's very bright. Hopefully that's a good one, because I kind of need one if I'm going to make it to the bottom here. Well, yeah, like, while the equipment... Of course it's not. While the equipment I have access to is not particularly great, like, I leveled it up, and, like... Oh, God. Kind of immediately felt an improvement. It's like, leveling it up to its max gave me, like, fucking 100 attack or something. That's just from, like, upgrading the level 1 equipment. So, of course, like, that tells me, hey, like Disgaea, equipment's pretty damn important in this game. Don't ignore it. You think it's gonna blow up or... There we go. But then also there's, like, other things to consider as, like, I get later into the game and just, like... it's also a fucking, like, dating sim them up. Iris Generations of War is a video game. Not to say that it's a bad video game. Like, it actually is, like, challenging. And I say that, like, affectionately. It is intended to have a pretty ambitious story all told. Because, like, it is not every day that a video game, like, even tries. It's a close kin to Fire Emblem Awakening. Yeah, accurate. Like, it's not every day that a game, like, tries to tell a multi-generational story. Fire Emblem Awakening kind of did that to an extent. But also, another Fire Emblem game, I think it was Genealogy. That was a major one that did this. Really? Fucking spell refresh? Get out of here. But this one's going to, like, tell a story across, like, 5 fucking generations of people. It's like, god damn. So I'm interested to see how that goes. Although, one thing I forgot about when I first got the game. Fire Emblem 4 only used 2 generations. This is true. This is very true. Something I forgot about in my youth when I first played this game was the slow crawl beginning that just fucking lore dumps on you. Phantasy Star 3 is probably the closest game. Interesting. Like, the game opens and dumps about this, like, war of light and dark between, like, monsters and gods, and a god who turns, like, evil, and like how the gods basically take this world of Agarest and fight over it until they destroy it, and then their tears bring life back to it, and like in their ultimate like gift of love, they sacrifice their lives to reincarnate all of the lost races of the world. It's like, hello? What? Did you not want to save this lore for later, maybe? It's all nice world building, but it's kind of fucking irrelevant when the first thing that you do as the main character is have a dream about getting killed. Like, all that lore is just gonna go in one ear and out the other. Like, not that I wasn't listening, but it doesn't fucking matter right now. Like, awful. Awful way to introduce me to your, like, game's world. Like, devs of Agarest Generations of War, I'm sure they got better with the sequels, because this game did in fact get sequels, and apparently got a fucking prequel with Agarest 0. Like, do you know what Show Don't Tell is? Like, do you? I would have been more invested if, say, the main character, one, didn't seem to know more about what was going on as far as the war was concerned, than me, the player. But, like, so, like, just playing some schmuck. Maybe a noble, but, like, some schmuck. Like the third son of a noble who ended up dying and is now serving in the military and has all these questions and is talking to his superior about it. And his superior's like, not such a bad guy, kind of like talking to him. Like, there's so many better ways to introduce this game's world and story to the player, as well as develop the lore so the player can experience it as they play through the game. I get that like all this stuff that you're showing to me in this like introduction to the game happened hundreds of years ago, like thousands even, like to the point that the gods are just forgotten. But like, question, why does this matter? You know? Like, I am just a player who's sitting here scratching his head like, okay, that's all cool and everything. Let me play your fucking game. Ask Daishana, I'm sure she knows. She won't fucking tell me, at least not yet. It's too soon to know. She has plans within plans within plans, I'm sure. I throw swamp water upon you, ow! Yeah, I didn't think this was gonna last very long. Oh my god, my corpse is a stick. But yeah, no, all of that lore, all of that, like, world building in the intro is fucking wasted right there. Like, come on! Like, game, buy me dinner first before you take out the storytelling thing and fuck me with it. I love world building. I'm a fucking nerd to Warhammer 40k. I love lore. You can't just do that though. Trick kill. Like, even Rogue Trader, the video game, has the decency not to, like, throw it all at you all at once. It gives you enough at character creation to get you kind of interested while you create your character, and then you could just play the hapless idiot that doesn't know what the fuck's going on from the beginning through the game. Literally like, hey, So, by the way, do you know why you were summoned here? And then you just be like, what? What the fuck's going on? And then just have your hand held. As the world and lore is explained and shown to you. And then you realize, oh, well, the 41st millennium's pretty fucking bad, isn't it? Well, the Imperium mankind is not full of good people, is it? Oh. Oh no. Instead of... And there was a war with gods! To which you, the very perplexed student, raises your hand and asks, so, when am I gonna be using any of this knowledge? It is a potion full of fire. This game's so weird sometimes. Like, actually thinking about it, I have fucking, like, some similar problems with how, the game introduces the intro to its plot as I would with, like, fucking Shield Hero. It just doesn't make sense. Why would you do this now? I should just write a fucking book already. I'm trying, kind of. I'm very bad at it. I won't even go that far. Like, I have an idea. I have an idea of writing, like, a satirical piece on, basically Rising of the Shield Hero. Because that is something I genuinely think deserves some satirization. But... God, fucking mouse wheel, man. Add up. But, and this is a somewhat big but, an attractive but. The only thing holding me back from, or no, not that. The point that I was going to make is, like, I am not a fool. I understand that part of the appeal of Rising of the Shield Hero is the fact that it is an isekai power fantasy. Oh ho ho. Oh ho ho. Wrong way. Heavy spread makes this a little tricky to use. I just gotta get lucky. Eventually, whatever I'm looking at is gonna die. Jink Bolt's good. Actually, no. First shot's always spread. God, is there a better revenge Sky Power fantasies out now? I don't doubt it. I'm sure there are. That doesn't mean that Shield Hero doesn't deserve criticism and satirization. And, like, if we want to do revenge... Because, like, think about it, that is part of its appeal, isn't it? It's supposed to be a revenge story. Kind of loses the fucking plot after a little bit, but hey, you know. Because, like, now that I think about it, like, that is actually a point in case. Like, part of it was revenge against the princess who did all this bad shit. That kind of gets resolved, doesn't it? The issue is, like all early isekais, the pitch doesn't really last very long. God, yeah, no kidding. Like, even I'm thinking, like, okay, so, here's this story that I want to write. Got it. And I've basically just abandoned the idea altogether of, like, hey, let's do 3, like, snobby assholes of characters that this one person is supposed to unite somehow. And I'm like, that's dumb. Why would I make a story of 4 characters when it's supposed to focus on 1? Looks at Ascendance of a Bookworm where there's always room to go up. Yeah, no, that's... Yeah. Yeah. God, I love Chain Bolt. Chain Bolt's so good. That looks like a bit of a problem, don't it? Also, I need to be careful with my concentrated mana. That, concentrated mana, when it touches water, will make more concentrated mana. So, don't do it. Or do. I'm not your mother. Chain Bolt is literally just auto-aim the spell. I also recently read more Overlord. God, you want to talk about good-ass fucking world building, though? I enjoyed every book and every volume of Overlord I've read, even if they're not, like, the best thing in the world, because there's so much world there. Like, holy shit. Similarly, as far as, like, power fantasy, like, trash goes, I say this affectionately because it's good, delicious trash. Is it okay to pick up girls in a dungeon is also, like, a very, very nice read. In that, I just kind of look at Belle as a protagonist. I'm like, you hopeless dork. I hope you win. It's like, he's just shy of not being useless. Especially at the beginning, but he gets better. I love that dork. He's such a fuck. Oh, I'm like, what's his fucking face? The dog man that just hates his guts. I am like, I dislike this Belle character, but then I can't help but actually like Belle, because I'm like, you're alright. You are charming in your, like, pitifulness. You know what it is? It's because Belle is like a rabbit. A rabbit with teeth. You just can't help but feel sorry for this creature that cannot for the life of it stop shaking at everything that terrifies it, and yet he does his damnedest to do good. And he gets stronger, like, genuinely. He has some fucking hype moments. Also, for the most part, it's earned. Of course, he has bullshit, like, secret powers. But he earns his stripes. Triple spell, blood cloud, fire worth 100+. But yeah, anyway, as far as my satire goes, like, I want to poke in particular at the idea of, like, this I can go for another round. Probably another couple after ads too, but in particular, Danmachi is yet another story where the initial pitch gets dropped so quickly. But oh, really? I mean, that checks out, but that's a little disappointing. Like, why not just keep making fucking monster-based foods? I'm thinking of the wrong... Oh, that's Delicious in Dungeon, isn't it? No, that's not Danmachi. Which one's Danmachi? Is that Delicious in Dungeon? Best spell. Well, not the best spell, but like best starter spell. Oh, is it wrong to pick up girls in a dungeon? Yeah, that's fair. I forgot that that's what that's called. Dunmeshi is delicious in dungeon. Okay, but you can see where I got a little confused. In offensive me though, like I just genuinely forgot. No. Put that back in my inventory. But that's true. It does kind of ditch the initial concept of like, hey, Bell is this kind of... I really don't know how to describe Bell. He's not really a doormat protagonist. But he's also not... He's not generic protagonist like 392. He kind of has a personality. Ah! I mean, he's a nice boy. Bell is a good lad. That's what Bell is. Bell is the good lad. The virgin good lad, but the good lad. Bell is a good boy. He's a good dog. Goody two-shoes. Wants to get better, and his goals are mostly wholesome. Never mind that Zeus, his granddad, keeps wanting him to fucking, like, go in and, like, do shit to girls and everything. Like, of all of your role models, why did it have to be implied Zeus? Because I don't know if that's ever revealed, but it's clearly Zeus. No, I'm not sure if, like, that means Bell is the grandson of an actual god, or if that just means that Gramps here, Zeus, just adopted his ass. I mean, either way, I'm sure it'll get revealed at some point. Ah! How do you put out fire, Blood? From where? Yes. I'm sure I'll learn more. Anyway, this started because I wanted to discuss, like, hey, this story here, like, because the biggest things I want to satirize are, like, hey, this thing that isekai keep doing, you know, enslaving people, for no fucking reason, mind. Hey, that's not cool. And also, somebody from our world would actually recognize that that's probably not a good thing unless they were a genuinely awful person. Even when push comes to shove and they're desperate. Because the fact of the matter is... Oh, hey, Tsukimichi. Yes. Because, like, look. As much as I will shit on Shield Hero, I get that Naofumi was pushed to a corner when it came to, hey, do or die. Either you go out there and you have the most miserable time trying to grind by your lonesome punching shit, which will get you, like, nowhere, and you might starve to death, or you use some of your money, buy a slave, and be a little opportunistic. And, like, train the slave up to actually act as your sword. Like, in the heat of the moment, yeah, no, someone might make that decision if they had no other decisions or choices left. So then, question, what kind of person is Naofumi if he never goes back on that after Raftalia, you know, frees herself, to be like, you know, this probably really isn't a good idea to keep a slave. Because, like, you know, Like, I get trust issues and everything, but for fuck's sake, man. How bad are your trust issues that you can't trust somebody who, after immediate release, is like, hey, you people are assholes. You need to knock it the fuck off. And, like, goes to bat for you. She had every reason to hate his guts, and she doesn't. I see that they're ads. We're gonna keep going. I know. Awful. So, first thing to satirize is that. Second thing to satirize, anybody else think it's weird that, Raftalia aged up really fucking fast? Hey, what's with, not just isekai, but, like, in general, hey, let's ship somewhat older dude with ick levels of younger character. Yes, I know Raftalia got aged up. The aging up is the problem because she was, like, 6 when she was, like, purchased. But in Danmachi, it has been confirmed that Belle's granddad is Zeus. I fucking knew it. Anyway. But she physically aged up. But did she mentally mature? That is the question. And I almost think it doesn't matter because she probably hasn't. She'll act all mature, but she probably isn't. She might be aware that her body has changed, but she's probably not aware in what ways. Of course, the writing will fucking pretend that she does. Because, like, how else are you gonna do fucking, like, fan service and shit, right? But it's kind of gross. I'm not gonna lie, it's kind of fucking gross. And, like, woe be onto the person that draws, like, a lewd image of, like, Raftalia and doesn't understand, mayhaps, that this is a mentally 6-year-old person, who is acting like they're 16 or whatever the fuck. But, like, to somebody that does know, like, if you do overthink it, like, you should probably have qualms about this. Yeah, she's about 8 mentally at this point. Like, yeah, no. Yeah, no. And, like, that is the biggest fucking bullshit flaw in the, hey, let's magically age up this character malarkey. Because it's like, she didn't get older, though. She just physically got older, which makes it worse. I better run. So, ow. There is a point to discuss and satirize there. Like, I've seen maybe 2 stories that managed magically aged up right, and both did it through time differentials. Points at Final Fantasy IV. Yeah, no, like, exactly, actually. Rydia was a child at one point. I should just cut the audio at that point. Rydia was a child, like, actually at one point. And then, because of some, like, bullshit magic, she goes to the land of summons, and that's where the time differential happens. So what was only like a handful of maybe weeks in our world, she went through like a fucking decade, roughabouts, in the land of summons. So she got older physically, but also mentally. Months to 12 years. Yeah, no, precisely. Now, if you do, hey, this person that knew this character when they were a child and you shipped them with them? What is wrong with you? Because that's weird. It could be fine in every other way, but you do that, that's weird. Part of my problem with Zelos from Tales of Symphonia is because he's like flirting with these children, the kind of sort of not really expectation of like the children hoping that they can marry him or date him or whatever, while it's like he child crush is that if they do genuinely get older and he keeps pursuing them or leading them on, does eventually do anything with them, that's fucking gross. Again, like, I have issues with Zelos, like, excuse me. So, similarly, like, with Raftalia in being shipped with Naofumi, more specifically wanting that man to any degree, makes me raise my eyebrows. Like, Naofumi does have the right idea of it. Like, yes, I'm going to treat this character like the child that she is. However, problem, he's also being almost willfully ignorant at this point of any of her advances. You two need to fucking sit down and hash this shit out. Like, come on. Yeah, and she's the least hazardous love interest. Hey, do we want to talk about the bestiality in the room? Of the character that actually looks like a child? Who is maybe no more than a couple of years old? Hi, Chocobo Kid. Philo, why do you exist? Oh, you haven't met Atla yet. Oh god. Oh god. Oh god. There's another one. Okay, noted. Jesus Christ. What occurred? I get that it's a cultural difference. And like, if these characters were, you know, maybe physically youthful looking, but we're still women, you know what I mean? We're talking like Tiki, younger Tiki very much is not okay. Older Tiki is fine. We're talking like Noe. If Noe didn't act like such a fucking child. Because Noe is knowingly old enough to be an adult, acts like an adult at times, but most of the time she's just carefree, possibly because of trauma, and acts a little bit youthful. But she's an adult. She just looks very young. Oh, God. Like, Raftalia and Philo are toxic? Atla's a goddamn radioactive... Jesus Christ. And I wonder, sometimes, why I read this series. It's to find shit like this, point it out, and say, this is bad. Don't fucking do this. Never mind that I don't think that, like... I'm not gonna, like, rag on the localization too much. Because I'm not sure if, like, how much of it is their fault or how much of it is, like, the writer's fault. But, like, it's not even well written, man. Not even that well written. Written pretty okay in spots, and I don't mind the world building. Like, the world building in Rising of the Shield Hero is pretty okay. It goes in some weird places at times. But it's alright. Another thing that I want to satirize outside of, hey, maybe don't date children. Which I feel like is a pretty easy two-pointer to land, like from the free throw line. Don't date don't date people that are children. Especially don't date people who are children that are your slaves. Also, maybe don't have slaves. This one's more so a personal pet peeve of mine when it comes to writing. It happened in Dragon Ball. It happens in Naruto. It happens in, fucking name an anime. You know that, like, super thing or, like, power-up that a character generally finds and uses? But they're warned, like, oh, be careful. If you use this too much, it might actually be detrimental to you. Hi Naofumi and the Cursed Shield, which is, like, promptly dropped after, like, 5 uses of it, from what I understand. But it's still there. It's still there, totally bad for you. Yeah, that never actually has any consequences. So if one thing that pisses me off in writing is this thing totally has consequences. Consequences, like, let the character get off pretty fucking easy. You know, Kaioken for Goku. You're not supposed to use more than ×2, otherwise it'll fuck up your body. We don't... It costs HP to use. Side eyes Naofumi's HP bar, right? Also, that is something that I want to lightly poke fun at in, like, some form of satirization, is, the video gamification of, like, elements in your world. Which is partly inspired by this idea of, well-known AI apologist, what's-his-face, whose brother is actually a successful artist on YouTube. I don't necessarily want to call attention to his YouTube channel because I don't want more eyes on it, but he wrote a book. It's not a good book from secondhand opinion. Apparently for something that has been edited and self-reviewed, it is just full of garbage that an editor would have had cut. But also immediately, like, apparently the main character gets something that's like a power of sorts, to put it simply. And they realize that they can manipulate, like, their own physical attributes based on how they, like, stretch and, like, allocate this power. Like, they can put, like, a majority of it in this direction, and they'll be smarter, like, super genius levels of smart. Like, put it in this direction, and, like, they'll be faster. At least I believe that's how it works. But instead of doing something where I just did it, where it's like, I feel this energy, so I cascade an amount of it. Like, I would think maybe close to half of it in this direction, and now I'm, like, about as fast as this, animal, like, as fast as an ostrich or something. No, it's just like, I have, like, these 4 points that I can allocate, so I allocate that, it's like... Dude. No. Like, it's... The thing about making something numeric like that is that it has to be a useful numericization. The thing about Dungeons and Dragons stats and, like, the video gamification of that is to make it so it is comprehensible to the human being, or to a human being. But some things are very abstract, even with that aid to help make it comprehensive. Ow, I can see you. Hey, did you ever wonder what having a charisma stat of 18 actually looks like? Because charisma is a pretty vague fucking, like, thing, if you think about it. Because charisma is a number of things, right? Charisma is how you look, how you sound, how you present yourself, how you talk, the words that you choose. All of these things, and they can change whether or not you come off as, charismatic, or just sound like a creep, right? Like one series I'm reading, there's a breakthrough in quantization of magic, which is important because spells require very precise levels of magic put into them or they fail, and it couldn't be taught well before. That's a big word for Elmo. But I get the gist. Quantization meaning that you can better quantify how much you can put into this thing. And that's, like, important, right? But, like, some things, how do you quantify how much of this thing you get? Like, in Dungeons & Dragons, a wizard has X number of spell slots. Well, that's probably not actually how that works in writing or demonstration of how Dungeons & Dragons would work. I would imagine it looks more like a sort of mental fatigue, right? And like a wizard or a sorcerer or like what have you, like they can throw spells and they can push themselves to a particular limit, but after a while they get like this crippling headache. And no matter how much they try, they just can't weave or manipulate the spells. And that's why cantrips are so important for them, because it doesn't take a lot of thought to just go, as Baldur's Gate 3 would do, ignites and there's a firebolt. By D&D spells, it's more an active memory log thing, which is funny, because active memory log meaning that, like, closer to RAM than battery. Which is funny when you conceptualize it like that, because that means you literally are, like, magically uploading the spell to your brain to then use later, if you're a wizard. But if you're a cleric, it's less magically uploading the, like, spell to your brain, and more that God just fucking jammed it in there. Load spells in a RAM, and then you have to pull it out to use it. Right. Which is where sorcerers are very frustrating, because they wibbly wobbly whapa! Right? Like, wizards look at that and it's like, you just fucking wiggled your fingers and threw that spell out. What the fuck? And you didn't even have to prepare it? Sorcerers are battery. Right. But even then, like, it demonstrates, like, how do you conceptualize and explain this, right? How do you make it so it's not just numeric? Because numeric is easy to understand, but in the terms of, like, an actual real-world thing, Sure, I might be able to last, like, 2 minutes running, which is generous. I'm way out of shape. I don't even think I can last that long. But, like, is that an accurate measurement of my constitution, that alone? Sure, I could maybe, like, do, lift this much stuff and walk that distance. Is that an accurate measurement of my endurance, my strength? It's so difficult to quantify what this thing is, to just route numbers, which I think Toriyama learned very quickly when it came to power levels. Because, hey, here's an interesting concept. Saiyans and Frieza, mostly Frieza, have these things called scouters, and these scouters can tell you the relative power level of somebody. Oh, he never intended power levels to be taken seriously. Yeah, but people took them way too fucking seriously. But still, it's a neat concept. It's a nice thought, like, experiment. But when you do take them seriously, it gets way too fucking out of whack, right? Because, like, how do you quantify somebody's power level with ki? Like, it's a measurement of ki, which would mean that some days it's not as high as others. But, like, you have these scouters that measure this power level, and, like, it kind of gives a general scale of somebody's power. So then if you wonder, how did they mathematically quantify your power so it could be measured like that? Because it's taking a scan of your person and then getting, you know, your ki aura, which something else that can be, like, acquitted with it is, hey, you can suppress it. So you can just lie to the test. But, I mean, when you do take that shit too seriously, you end up with, like, a scenario where Form 1 Frieza could be handled by Vegeta. Vegeta at one point beat the snot out of, like, Piccolo or whatever the fuck. Even though, well, no, they never fought. They never fight. Or beat the snot out of Goku at one point, who beat up Piccolo. But Piccolo later comes back. And scouters don't just measure Ki, they also do a full bioscan. Okay, fair. The biopsy is kind of cool, though. Anyway. Like, it's measured muscle mass and density, stored chemical energy, bone density. It does so much. It's so cool. But then, like, it'll tell you those measurements. Because that's something you can quantify. You can quantify somebody's muscle density, because you could just measure that shit. And it's factoring all of that into one, quote, useful, unquote, number. Right, it's doing all of this measurement, and then it's giving you a rating, right? So if it's doing all of that, like, then you get this singular number that just means so much all at once that it's almost meaningless. In fact, it is meaningless. A person who is hungry will have a lower power level than them fresh out of a feast. Yeah, no, and, like, you can fail the test. You could intentionally fail the test by suppressing your ki, because, as evidenced, like, when Nappa scanned Krillin, Gohan, and Piccolo when they first and Tien, and Yamcha, and Chaozu, when they first went up against the Z Warriors, he was like, wow, that's weird. Baldy's got a power level of 4, this should be cake. To which, I know in Team Dragon Ball Z Abridged, Vegeta is immediately like, Nappa, they're hiding their power levels. These things are fucking useless right now. Or Future Trunks rating a 5 when debuting. Yeah, I know, exactly. So I was like, what's this kid gonna do? Go Super Saiyan. And you're immediately like, oh. Exactly, point in case, like, Trunks is a 5. Well, what does that mean? It's such a nebulous number. It doesn't mean anything. It never was meant to mean anything. Scouters also factor weapons and arm. Damn! This is some crazy tech! Anyway, the only useful thing about it is it's a metric to compare to your own power level. So it's important to know what your own power level is, so you can compare it to the other guys. Yeah, there's so much aggregating to it. Like, the only thing it doesn't factor is martial arts and techniques known, right? Which is probably part of why, right, that Goku, while measuring it like, what was it, 1/5 of Final Form Frieza's, like, power level, which was stupid high, by the way, Goku was able to last so damn long. Because Goku actually has gotten into fights. He's won fights. He's been the underdog. Continues to be the underdog in many instances. If Frieza wasn't so fucking powerful, he would have actually whooped his ass. And he showed that he could whoop his ass a number of times in the same fight. Frieza got hit a good few times. Goku was good about making sure he didn't. Like, yeah, Goku got hit a few times. They hurt. Like, you know, it's literally the difference between a weaker dude who knows karate versus some guy who lugs around heavy-ass shit on a construction site all day, who doesn't know remotely how to fight. Like, yes, I am scared of being hit by both of them, but I know I'm not going to win a fight against the guy who knows karate. Yeah, Frieza really broke the scale. From start of Dragon Ball to Ginyu, it had less relative scaling as Ginyu to Final Form Frieza. Yeah. Yeah. Also, Ginny's gimmick was fucking terrifying, and I'm surprised that Toriyama never used it again. I don't know why I'm trying to kill you. You're just a pain in the ass to kill. And you cause so many problems. At least the power levels are to be considered. Right. But to circle back why this was important again, it's that video gamification of a stat, right? Because, like, we're trying to homogenize all of this information into one useful number. But that useful number means fucking nothing without comparing it to something else. Which is why in Dungeons and Dragons we have, like, the average. Like, 10s across the board for strength, dex, constitution, intelligence, wisdom, charisma. This is supposed to be, like, the average human. Right? Like, that's supposed to be average. And then 18 is supposed to be, like, the... Well, no, not 18. 20 in 5th edition is meant to be the peak of human physical strength. Or any of their stats. But it becomes very difficult when you start to individualize it, because, like, yeah, 10s are the average, but what does that actually mean? Right? Like, in Final Fantasy, what does having a strength stat of, like, 89 really mean? Like, in Final Fantasy IV, if Cecil has the strength stat of 89, is he just freakishly strong? Is he able to, like, pick up boulders? Evidently not, because there are a number of times where, like, something's in the way, but Cecil doesn't decide to just punch it and be done with it. Similarly, Final Fantasy VII would have us believe that, like, Cloud is, like, soldier first class. Yang is the one who punches boulders. Okay, touche. The game leads us to believe in Final Fantasy VII that Cloud is soldier first class. Why is he level 6 at the beginning of the game? What the fuck does that level mean? And why is his, compared to the cap of, like, 1 to 99, why is it so low? Like, that admittedly causes some, like, meta-narrative dissonance, or I think it's ludonarrative dissonance specifically. I'm calling it meta-narrative dissonance because, like, you taking this video game information, the meta, and applying it to the story of the, like, game, and you're having this dissonance. Because Cloud does not demonstrate that he's soldier first class by being level 7. That's weird. Yeah, that's ludonarrative dissonance. Fair enough. Like, if you suspend your disbelief of that, though, Cloud acts, fights, and talks like he's, you know, pretty competent. Especially when random town girl Eris joins at, what, 9? If I recall correctly, I think the minimum is, like, 9. But, no, it actually scales off of your present level. Final Fantasy VII does a cool thing where characters, when they join your party, will have a level relative to what your level is, if I recall correctly. So, yes, Aerith. Really, it's Aerith. Marnie! Anyway. Aerith can join the party at level 9, but if you're, like, level 15, she'll join at, like, level 14. Which just makes it worse, if you think about it. Like, yeah, why are you so strong, girl? Why are you so high-leveled? And, like, all of these things cause a number of problems. Don't get me wrong. It is cool that, like, in Danmachi, like the gods can like read this language off of like their familia's backs and can get a very convenient scaling of like, hey, this is their agility stat, this is their strength stat, this is their current level, right? Like they can do that and get this relative like easy like to understand mathematical like this is your character stats. Now I'm imagining you grinding level 99 in the first reactor and just making the world feel silly. It would feel beyond silly. Because if you did that, that would mean that Hojo like managed to trap Red 13, who's gonna be like level 97 or something. And it's like, how did you contain that thing? Because the next thing that will be sent out, the boss after Red 13 joins up is gonna be one shot by somebody. But can be one shot by Red 13. It's like, Hojo, what did you do? What sort of drugs in the trank gun did you have? Right? Oh, God, that would be such a fucking boring. He asked very politely. But yeah, no, it's like cool that like the gods and stuff can see this, and then we'll write it down for like humans, because for all intents and purposes, like the gods genuinely are reading this magical language and then using their godly knowledge, quantifying it into something that a person can understand. It's like, hey Hestia, how strong am I? Reads the thing on my back and then says, you have a strength score of 900. I don't know what the fuck that means, but it seems pretty high. And they also conveniently have like the grading with it as well. So like it still seems and feels very cool. But something else to like talk about as well is when something like Overlord uses it, because in the books, if you read towards the back, it actually tells you, hey, here's this character, here's their level spread, here's their relative stats. They don't like numerically list like the stats, mind you, but if they came with Ainz, it always tells you like, here are some of their levels that they have in like these classes. But then if you find a character from the world that Ainz got warped to, it says, these are their classes, level question mark. Because you can't quantify it. Like, it's not something that can be quantified. It's like, this is a Guardian. His level? I don't fucking know. Like, yes, they have techniques and stuff, which is all very video gamey, of like, overhead slash, yeah! And then there's magic and everything. But, like, you get my point, right? Like, it's cool because it actually creates this, like, separation where it's like, hey, Ainz knows these statistics about his characters that are part of Ainz Al Gaun. Everybody in the world, fuck if he knows. Like, he doesn't have magic to see that shit. Nobody does. Like, you, the reader, won't fucking know, so it's literally just, like, regular-ass fantasy people interacting with characters that have all these levels. And hey, all these levels have made these characters fucking godly compared to them. And that's part of why I love Overlord, actually. Is like, it gives you the video game quantification for these characters so you understand how stupidly, absurdly overpowered they are, while also still explaining, like, this is this person. This is how, like, their levels. Yeah, no, we don't know how many levels they have in these classes either, man. Like, what are you looking at us for? They do end up making level range guesses for each of the adventurer ranks. Right, and that checks, because, like, of course Ainz is going to estimate, like, okay, so this is probably this and this is probably this and this, and this is probably this and this, and this is probably this and this. Because that makes sense. Of course he's going to make those estimates. He's going to quantify it in ways that he's going to understand. And of course, while the books are not exclusively told from his perspective, they probably do a job in which it's like from the perspective of someone who is like Ainz, this is how this is going to look. Because Ainz is, while not always the central figure of the book, depending on your volume, certainly one of the most important characters in the entire story. And like you start the book series from his perspective, so you're going to want to understand it from his perspective. Higher rank of adventurers struggle to deal with my level 10 minions, but can do it, so I guess they're about level 10. Exactly! He has his relative knowledge, because he's like, these are minions, snaps fingers, are level 10. Iron rank adventurers can handle them. Barely. I guess they're like about level 10. Makes sense. He's literally doing like, this is what they are in the video game world that I came from. I can make this reasonable assumption based on what I am witnessing and experimenting. That's okay use of it. It's fucking genius. So of course, I want to poke fun at it in my own storytelling. And not even do it towards the beginning, like, characters introduced, and he's like expecting all these magical, like, okay, I get to know my stats and stuff, and like whoever he's talking to is like, what? No, you don't. But then later he like gets a magical physical, and it's like, okay, now I'll finally know my stats. Is given like a fucking book. It's like, what's this? Your physical results. What? And like he starts reading it, and it's like, this is absurdly detailed. And, like, covers so much. What do you mean the maximum length the hair on my arms can grow is, like, 5 centimeters? That's weirdly specific. Because, like, there's so much that goes into knowing this shit that you can't easily quantify it always. And when you try, you sound absurd. Oh, and here's another tome. What's this one? Your mental stats. Exactly. Like, I want to poke fun at it. But I also want to acknowledge, like, it's still fun, and it still helps when you can mathematically quantify it like that. It still gives you a grasp of the world, even though it's like a kind of a shaky one if you think about it too long. But, yeah, no. Anyway. That's about all I got. I wanted to stream for a little bit. I did talk about my schedule on Blue Sky. There's not necessarily a planned stream this Friday, because my fiance is going into surgery, and I want to make sure I'm available to help them. But this is also true. I also have to pick them up. So, you know, I'm gonna be busy. Hopefully Friday. We're expecting Friday. Yep. But yeah, I don't have a raid target, and I'm gonna be real. Nature is calling, and I need to go. So I'm gonna just let y'all scatter. Folks, thank you very much for sticking around to the end of the stream. Oh, forgot your spiritual stats. Hands over a pamphlet! I almost missed that message. That's fucking hysterical. Anyway. Anyway, folks, thank you very much for sticking around to the end of the stream, or however long you stuck around for. Your time is one of your most valuable resources, and I appreciate you spending even a minute of it here. It gives me folks to ramble at, talk to, talk about various video games, show off cool video games like Noita. But yeah, hopefully I will see you. If I don't stream Friday, I will see you Sunday. For certain. But if I do have time, I may stream on Friday. But again, I'm going to be busy. With all that said, folks, please remember you are always welcome here at Mana's Potion. And I'll see you next time.